Okay, so we're going to talk about this Jupiter energy right now, okay? So if you don't already know, one, most important to know this week in the astrology is to know where the first degrees, in particular 5 degrees of the fixed signs are in your chart, specifically Taurus. And if you have any planets or placements there, let me know in the chat what they are, because you are getting those really lit up. Now, if you don't have anything there, but you have anything in any of the other fixed signs, you're getting some action in that area, and you're likely going to be challenged, because what we know about growth is that growth challenges us. We don't grow in our comfort zone. Children get growing pains as adults. When we decide to take on something new, it's uncomfortable. If we do something new in our life, the longer we're here, the more we want to be comfortable, the more we don't want to, try new things necessarily, the more we want to just stay in our comfort zone. So we are in a time period where we're all being stretched. And in particular, if you have any of the fixed placements, this is a very uncomfortable time, and it is there for your growth and opportunity. So we're going to talk first about this transit of Jupiter conjunct to the North Node. So that's most important to know, where those first few degrees of Taurus are in your chart. Second to know, just in general, is where is your Jupiter? Where is your Jupiter in your chart? Knowing this is so helpful to understanding your Jupiterian cycles, your growth opportunities, if you decide to take them, and all of the things that go along with Jupiter. What house it's in, what sign it's in, is going to give you so much good information about that. And then thirdly, this week to know is where is 13 degrees of Sagittarius, which Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Where is that in your chart? Because that's where we're going to have a full moon on Saturday. So we have a big week in the astrology. And whenever we have a big week in the astrology, you might notice some tensions coming up. You might notice some uncomfortability coming up. You might notice just this extra pent up energy, especially when we're building towards a full moon such as this one. So the Jupiter North Node conjunction is the big news of the week. It's the big news, probably, second biggest to that Jupiter square that we had, and is still kind of lit up, the Jupiter square Pluto. So if you haven't noticed, the astrologers have been busy the last couple weeks. It's been a very busy week, and some of these transits don't happen often. The last time that we had this transit this week of the North Node and Jupiter conjunct each other was back in 2016 in Virgo, another earth sign. The difference between those two earth signs is that Taurus, the transit that we're having now, is much more fixed, much more stubborn, and much more able to build. The mutable signs are about change and about moving from one thing to the next, but the fixed signs are about the slow build, and that's why they're stubborn. So there's beautiful things about being stubborn, and there's a lot of staying power there. You tend to find that fixed signs are very committed to their work, their partnerships, those kinds of things. And this is because of that fixed nature to build. And so when we have Jupiter, the planet of expansion and freedom and opportunity and luck, in Taurus, as we're going to have for the next year, it's really about us expanding into the build, whatever we're building, and wherever your Taurus house is in your chart. And this is why it's such a good time to get a full-on chart reading this time, a full-on session with me. So you can book that through the link in my profile. And when we're talking about the North Node is about our Dharma. It's about what we're called to in this lifetime, and it also is the most uncomfortable point in our chart. So wherever your North Node is typically the most uncomfortable part of your chart, depending on what planets or placements are also there, because it's trying to push us into this uncomfortability, because that's our Dharma. We're supposed to move into the places where we are uncomfortable, where we're not familiar. And we tend to, just as humans, rely back on our South Node, which is our past lives and our past experiences. And that's our South Node in our chart. So you want to just be aware of that and know that right now, collectively, we're being pulled into this uncomfortable future together. And what is interesting about this meetup between Jupiter moving into Taurus and the North Node, it moves back through the signs, moving into Aries, is that Jupiter just came out of Aries. Jupiter just expanded Aries, our identity, a lot more. A lot of you are going to notice that you know yourself a lot more this year than you did maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. You have more confidence in who you are. And that was due to Jupiter's transit through Aries. Well, that confidence now that we've built is asking us to go in that direction. So the North Node has just moved back through Taurus and is at that 3rd degree, and then it's going to move into Aries. Because the North Node has been moving through Taurus, it's been kind of trying to push us into that, Taurus energy, into our stability and our strength. And it really has us really reevaluating resources and money, and working through money blocks, and working through money issues, and working through resource issues, and working through value issues, and working through issues in worthiness. So if you feel like you've been doing that, guess what? It's all for a purpose, because Jupiter's going to come in and it's going to bring luck and expansion to wherever you did the deeper work. And then we're going to move into doing that deeper work in Aries, and it's going to be a little bit easier, because this pass off, it's like passing off the baton, where the information gained that the North Node has gained in Taurus is getting passed on to Jupiter, and Jupiter is passing on the information from Aries. So this is a big blessing, and because of that, it's important to know that it's also a big turning point in the collective and personally. So really looking at where the first 5 degrees of Taurus is in your chart is going to show you where this massive exchange of information and invitation for taking opportunities, for making a leap, for choosing you and choosing something that's going to improve you. For this point where this meetup is happening is the nourisher. It's about nourishment, and you really want to take this week and make sure that you're nourishing the connections, the self-development, the relationships, the ways in which you are nourished. Make sure you take time to tend to those this week. What feeds your soul? Is it sitting out in your backyard? Is it getting out on a trail? Is it, going shopping? Is it doing something for yourself in a way that's going to improve the way you feel about yourself? This is the week to choose that. So that's why it's such a great week to choose working together. And if you want to learn more about that, you can click the link in my profile to learn different ways to work with me, jump into that work. And you can also just message me with any questions that you have about working together. The most beneficial work is when we work together over time. And I have crown codes, the one-on-one biz alignment coaching package, which is a course with me, the Crown Codes course, and it's one-on-one work on your business to make some big shifts. Because here's the thing. There's a lot shifting and changing in our world, and there's a lot shifting and changing in each and every one of us. And it's so important that you take the time to claim yourself as the treasure, yourself and your mission as the purpose, and to not back away from that, because it is such an important time to expand Jupiter into your future. And a lot of people invest way too much into their past, into looking back, into looking at where they failed or how they invested in this one thing and it didn't work out. It's like we have to get over those things and move into claiming our future, claiming our purpose, claiming our mission, and claiming ourselves as the treasure. So this is very Taurus themes, very Empress themes, and that goes really well with Crown Codes, the one-on-one work that I have together we can do. So this is a great time to do any kind of money work, to do any kind of value work, to do any kind of worthiness work. Shying away from that or moving away from that is not a great idea. Any decisions or anything that you invest in this week quadruples times 10 in the universal themes of things. So do not waste your energy, time, resources on people, situations, anything in the world that you don't want to see in your future. If that is not something that you want to bring with you into the future, do not spend time there. This is a week to be very intentional about your energy and your resources, more so than any other week that we've had since 2016. So the last thing that I will say is that this is also a time to count and recount and recount and recount and recount your blessings. Amplify your gratitude this week. Amplify the things that you have that are working for you in this week. If you feel any kind of anxiousness or any kind of apprehension or just like nervousness energy in your environment, this is just part of what this energy is. It's just a lot of energy moving through, and I can feel it in the wind, and I can feel it in the just the vibes out in the world. And because of that, just remember to breathe into it and look around and just be grateful for what you have right in front of you. How you can identify your blessings right now is going to determine the continuation of those blessings or not. So it's a really important time to take the opportunity to really review what things have worked out for you, what is working in your life. What are you proud of? What are you grateful for? Because it's so vital as this transit is happening for you to do that. This transit is most active. It's exact tomorrow. So if you're watching this, depending on when you're watching this, June 1st is when this is exact. But really, it's, this whole week. And we're going to see a lot of things from this transit come into fruition much later. So it's a really important time to, again, tap into your heart, tap into your magnetism, tap into the things that you're grateful for, your blessings, and remember that you are the treasure, and that anything that you're seeking for outside of yourself or anything that you're desiring at this time is already somewhere in here. And so if you can really take the time and energy to do the inner work at this time, it's going to pay off times, I don't know, 1,000,000. So do that work. This is really interesting. We have some other things happening with Pluto. If you haven't watched my video on Jupiter square Pluto, it's a good time to watch that because that's also happening around the same time. And we have Venus opposing Pluto, as well as we're moving into this full moon energy in Sagittarius in the 13th degree, which is the goddess degree. And yes, so it's a really wild time. It's a wild time to be alive. Remember to have that gratitude. Remember to move forward with trust. And if you are feeling just a lot of this energy, move your body. Remember, it's Gemini season. You're meant to process. You're meant to talk things through. That's why it's a great time to work with me and get outside, breathe fresh air, drink lots of water.